and a separate motion. Does anyone on the council wish to remove any of these items for a separate vote?
I don't wish to.
Jenna?
Can I ask a clarification?
Yes.
I'm not sure who it goes to, but for the utility assistance program, maybe Bill, that's under you.
That goes to Nathan?
Me.
Nathan, to you. Is there a wait list for that currently? I know we're contributing some amount. If Fairway resident, somebody wanted to use it today, they could apply.
We carry a hardy balance in there for anybody who would apply.
Great.
But again, they do have to meet their criteria.
200% below poverty level.
Yeah, but there's a balance. We always carry a balance in that fund. So there are some years where we may, even though it's been approved as a part of the budget, we don't contribute anything, just because the balance doesn't require that they ask us to sort of refill it.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Yep.
That's it.
David?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't want to remove an item. I just had a question on item F and the information technology services. As you noted in your report, it's a significant increase, somewhat unexpected. And do we think this is a one-time unexpected increase with their new accounting process? I'm just curious how it got from A to B. I'm glad we're still way under what we were paying before,
Right.
but that was a big jump.
So yes and no, to answer your question, if that's a good way to do it. First of all, I would just mention they have changed around their billing practices. Before, they were using or basing our fees largely off of number of devices, but as well as user count. They're moving now more toward just the user count specifically. And actually, we were anticipating about a 15% increase. It was about 30. The other 15% of that came into the way they are billing us for our what they level as part-time staff.
Nathan, talk directly into your mic,
Sorry.
please. Thank you.
Our part-time staff. So, for example, the elected officials who have their own Fairway Kansas email account, meaning you go to the office website, Office 365 website, and you check your email there. You have what's called a kiosk account, and so they're billing us differently for that account than they were before. For the elected officials who basically are having their emails forwarded directly to another email account, you do not have any licenses or kiosk accounts, so there's no fee for that. But now when we look at not only just, we have a handful of council members, we have 2 public works employees, we have our prosecutor and judge, as well as the library account for the Indian Mission. Those kiosk accounts. Ooh.
Wow.
You
must have breathed too much.
I'll continue. Don't be distracted by the activities. Yeah, it was. So, but the way they changed the structure for that is about $4,500 increase a year for us. So, yes, in terms of that was a one-time expense because they changed the process. No, because they just went through, the county has just gone through a compensation study, and we anticipate that there will be some changes in the compensation for the DTI staff, which may result in an increase for 2025, but it should not be as significant as what we're seeing this year. So I did meet, we meet regularly in the Northeast City Administrators Group. All of the Northeast cities experienced, well, I shouldn't say all but one, experienced a pretty significant increase in their DTI contract. We were at about 30%, some were as high as 40% increase. So
Is there any sense that, I mean, are we saying this is an appropriate accounting approach from the county? Is there any pushback by the other cities?
I think all of us pushed back in our own way. I think one of the challenges and frustrations for me, particularly with the kiosk accounts, it's one thing, you know, as elected officials or our judge or prosecutor, the SIM volunteers, they never touch our city network. They don't have any city devices. So historically, their support from DTI has been they set up the email account with the username and a temporary password, and it gets sent off to whomever, and then that's it. What they're accounting for is the county, not just in terms of the support to the other cities, but also internally at the county, is they're running into more and more issues where people have their email accounts through no fault of their own are spoofed, or there's phishing events that are put out where, we had one with Kim Young right before she retired. I mean, through no fault of her own, her email accounts started sending out thousands of emails one morning. And so it took DTI several hours along with Microsoft to wrap their head around that. And so part of it is they're understanding that those kinds of experiences are happening more often. And that happens even if it's a kiosk account or a full-blown Office 365 account on the server or not. So there's a little bit of, I think, accounting for that. The pushback on that was, at least our experience has been that that's rare, but it's even more rare for the kiosk accounts. And we really sort of, in my meeting with them, and Bill, I used your department, I apologize, but I essentially said, for you to bill us and assume that this is going to happen is kind of like Public Works assuming there's going to be 15 winter storm events and they budget for all of them for the following year. I said, it seems like it's a little bit unreasonable. So I don't think the conversations are necessarily over long term. They're over for 2024. But I think what I think I learned today is that there's maybe a little bit of some collective bargaining that the cities have not fully used in terms of our contracts, because many of us do have contracts with the county for DTI services. So I think, collectively, it's probably somewhere in the tune of $190,000 to $200,000 that all the cities pay in. But the DTI's cost model is not to profit off of providing the service to the cities. It is to recover their costs. And I think we've all seen personnel costs have definitely increased over the past couple of years. So part of that is definitely built into it. And again, we will see another step increase on that for 25. So, yeah.
It was a complicated issue, but to be continued. Anyone else? All right. I will entertain a motion concerning the consent agenda.
Mayor, I move that we consider items A through F on the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we approve items A through F on the consent agenda. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. All right, moving on to new business. The first item under new business, A, is to consider Resolution 2023H, a resolution establishing the 2024 fee schedule. Nathan?
Yeah, before I get into this, just want to make a correction on the resolution, and this was corrected on the printed out version. Under the under the now therefore be it resolved section, that should have referenced the 2022 fee schedule that was adopted, not the 2021 that did not get updated. So on the signed copy, that has been updated. So again, we are replacing the fee schedule from December 12th of 2022, and the resolution 2022F is being repealed with this current resolution before you. So you can see in the staff report from City Clerk Aldridge, really the only changes that the city or that staff is proposing right now are reflective in Parks and Rec. And the first one of those is the Super Pool Pass, which Bryce just talked about. And then the second one, as Bryce is continuing to evaluate our fee structure here at City Hall for rentals, we think that there is an opportunity for us to increase our fees, because we're certainly among the lowest right now. And we're also probably one of the, I can tell you we are the busiest rental facility inside a City Hall, probably in all of Johnson County. So just because of not everybody has rental facilities in their City Hall. So anyway, with that, and you saw in Bryce's report, I think in the month of November there was 22 rentals. So we've mentioned this before, but we have more people coming to City Hall for a private rental than we do coming to City Hall for city business, probably tenfold in a month. So that tells you the successes of our rental program here. So those are the only fees being proposed for changing, but just so you know, staff in this time, we compare ourselves with other municipalities in Johnson County in terms of fee schedule. In addition, we also look at what do we charge versus what do we recover. So one thing we are constantly evaluating, and just as an example, is the dog licensing program. We look at everything from the estimated staff hours that are involved in that to the cost of the dog tags themselves, postage, all of that good stuff. And then we say, okay, are the fees that are being generated, the revenue, is that offsetting all of our costs for that particular service? So we go through and look at all of that, from building official and building permits all the way down to dog tags. And so that is how we evaluate that every year. And so going into 24, staff has a high degree of confidence that our fees are in line with other cities, as well as what we need to be for ourselves.
Okay, thank you, Nathan. Is there any discussion, questions from council concerning this resolution?
Nathan, I just have a quick question for you, since we only see this once a year.
Okay, Dan, I'm identifying you to Barb Fox.
Okay, I'm Dan. Ward 2. The building permits on the commercial side of things, I know we don't run in maybe as many commercial as residential, but would those encompass both new builds and remodels?
Yes, for commercial.
Okay, same fee structure regardless. Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right, I'll open this for public comment. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to make public comment concerning Resolution 2023H? I don't see any here, Nathan. No one online. All right, then I will entertain a motion concerning this resolution.
Mayor, I move to approve Resolution 2023H, a resolution establishing the 2024 fee schedule.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve Resolution 2023H. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. All right, item B under new business, consider ordinance 1795. An ordinance relating to the regulation of traffic within the corporate limits of the city of Fairway, Kansas, incorporating by reference the standard traffic ordinance for Kansas City's 49th edition, with certain additions, amending or readopting and repealing existing sections 10-19 through 10-22 inclusive, and sections 10-48 through 10-66 inclusive of the Code of Ordinances, City of Fairway, Kansas, and repealing ordinance number 1771. Chief?
Thank you. This is standard every year. It's published by the state of Kansas, by the League of Kansas Municipalities. And then I'd also like to just defer some of the explanation to the city attorney, Richard Cook.
Sure. Rich Cook, city attorney. So ordinance 1795, as Chief mentioned, this is just the standard traffic ordinances. It's a routine matter. We do this every year to kind of incorporate the updated standard ordinance that's published by the league. You'll see in the packet there's a red line to last year's version, and there appears to be a lot of red. That doesn't mean those provisions are being deleted. That just means they don't need to be updated this year because they're already in the code. So, any questions?
Any questions from council? Okay, I'll open this for public comment. Anyone in the audience wish to discuss ordinance number 1795? Hearing none, I'll close public comment, and I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance number 1795, which is an ordinance relating to the regulation of traffic within the corporate limits of the city of Fairway, Kansas, incorporating by reference the standard traffic ordinance for Kansas cities, the 49th edition, with certain additions, amending or readopting and repealing the existing sections 10-19 through 10-22 inclusive, and sections 10-48 through 10-66 inclusive of the Code of Ordinances, City of Fairway, Kansas, and repealing ordinance number 1771.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve ordinance number 1795. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. All right, moving on to item C under new business. Consider ordinance number 1796, an ordinance relating to the regulation of public offenses within the corporate limits of the city of Fairway, Kansas, incorporating by reference the Uniform Public, I don't want to say offenses code for Kansas cities, 38th edition with certain changes, amending and repealing existing sections 8-25, 8-26, 8-27, 8-29, 8-30, and sections 8-49 through 8-55 inclusive of the Code of Ordinances, City of Fairway, Kansas, and repealing ordinance number 1772. Chief?
Thank you. Much like the standard traffic ordinance, this is for the offense codes. I'll defer back to our city attorney again, but it's the very same story.
Yes, Rich Cook, City Attorney. Ordinance 1796 is very similar to the previous one. There is some red that in the red line that's in your packet, and there's also some blue, which is some new language that was inadvertently left off the 2021 version of this ordinance, and it's now added back in, so that's why that's there. But other than that, this is just a standard routine measure. So happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from council?
Mayor, I have a question.
Jenna?
Jenna Ward 4. So this new language regarding unlawful discharge of a firearm, it seems to me that that's the only language we have regarding firearms in our municipal code. Rich or Chief, is that accurate?
Yeah, most of the those other ordinances or the other language is going to be covered through state statute.
Okay, and then is there room to revise this if we wanted to make it stricter in terms of like what's included as unlawful discharge of a firearm? Which is not.
Yes,
okay.
yes, you could do that, but I mean we don't have language before the council now. But
I'm curious, and because I think the exceptions are rather broad, and I'm curious about the chief's take because you see this more. If you think that would be helpful to make less exceptions to this.
I'm comfortable with where it's at the moment, but I'm always open to review it anytime.
And when I say exceptions, because it's kind of confusing, so if I read this, it says that it's not unlawful discharge of a firearm if you do it in defense of property, for example. And I just think there are some areas where maybe it would behoove us to say that somebody would still be charged with unlawful discharge of a firearm. I think the exceptions are kind of broad. I don't know if that makes sense to other folks.
Chief? I'd like your professional opinion.
So I guess I'd have to consider all of those scenarios in which that wouldn't be prudent. You know, for example, protecting property from.
Chief, please remove your hand
I'm sorry.
from your mouth.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm pondering when that would be when you would be able to do that, and I think it would be the first thing that would come to mind is like an animal or something like that, a rabid animal or something to that effect with that was in a residence where you had to like we put down deer and,
Coyote.
yeah. But I'd have to consider that. I don't really have the answer for that right now.
And if you're comfortable with it, that's fine. I just wanted to know if there was any, since you're the one enforcing it, there were things that you wanted in here that weren't in here. So,
No, I'm comfortable with it.
okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Yep. Dan Bailey,
Dan?
Ward 2. So now that I'm actually reading that language, you can fire blanks in the city?
Yeah, you are able to fire blanks.
Like I could just go in my backyard and Yosemite Sam?
Right, but then it would also, other ordinances would fall into place, like disorderly conduct, noise ordinances. You know, there's track events, things like that happen, starting of races, other events in the city that we may need to make an exception for that.
Okay.
And obviously it's,
Okay. Never had thought about it before.
yeah, there you go.
Just as an example, Dan, long ago, the swim meets used to be started with an actual
Yeah.
starter gun, a pistol, that had blanks in it, so that would be
That was
one
the
of
example I
exceptions.
was going to give.
Yeah.
I went off to a lot of
Yeah.
blanks.
Former Councilmember Pete Barnum started, I think it was close to 30 years worth of swim meets at the Fairway Pool with his pistol.
He's very proud of that.
Yeah. When he retired, I think we dipped it in bronze or something like that on his behalf.
All right, anyone else?
Mayor, if I could just point out on the agenda, I apologize to the governing body for, at the time the agenda was affirmed, I did not have the ordinance numbers that we were repealing, so that's why you see the 2 question marks at the end of B and C.
That's why I asked what they were, so I
Yeah.
knew what to read. All right. I'll open public comment for consideration of ordinance number 1796. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to comment? All right, we'll close public comment, and I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to motion that we approve ordinance 1796, an ordinance relating to the regulation of public offenses within the corporate limits of the city of Fairway, Kansas, incorporating by reference the Uniform Public Offense Code for Kansas City's 30th edition, with certain changes, amending and repealing existing sections 8-25, 8-26, 8-27, 8-29, 8-30, and sections 8-49 through 8-55 inclusive of the Code of Ordinances, City of Fairway, Kansas, and repealing ordinance number 1772.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve ordinance number 1796. All those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. The final item under new business is D, consider ordinance number 1797, an ordinance granting to Level 3 Telcom of Kansas City LLC a contract franchise to construct, operate, and maintain a telecommunications system in the city of Fairway, Kansas. Rich, I'll let you take that one.
Thank you, Mayor. This is ordinance 1797, and this is a franchise agreement with Level 3 Telecom of Kansas City. This replaces an existing franchise with a company that was previously known as Expedius. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And that company was at one point acquired by Time Warner, and it's now this Level 3 Telecom entity, which is a subsidiary of Lumen. This is just an update to the previous franchise agreement that was there before. There's updates for statutory changes, and then the other update is relating to the fee. It's the standard. We're charging the standard fee of 5% of gross revenues for any sort of telecom for the right to use the right of way. So.
Just add to that the 5% franchise fee is for any place where we would have an end user within the city of Fairway, but that is actually not anticipated with this franchise agreement. Their fiber is simply running through the city. Their clients are not resident, they don't
Yep.
service residential areas.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
So
we
we-
confirm that with them, and
Yeah, we do have a 5% franchise fee, but we will probably never realize it since there's not an end user, or at least right now we won't realize any revenue from that because there is no end user within the city of Fairway. Should that
So they're
change,
still allowed to run it through our right-of-way, but don't have to pay for it?
they don't have to, unless there would be an end user within the
But
city.
if the end user is across 53rd Street in Roland Park,
Mm-hmm.
we wouldn't,
No, and it's the same as it was
but
before.
they
This
couldn't get
this-
to Roland Park without going through our right-of-way.
Correct. Yeah, their clients tend to be large corporate clients, not residential use. And as a municipality, we would be, I mean, we, state statute requires we work with them in good faith, even if they're just passing through.
Even if they destroy our right-of-way for
So
some
they
reason?
still have to, any work they would do, there would still be subject to a
To
right-of-way
permit.
permit and the
Okay.
regulations of the city.
Okay,
Yeah, so they still would have to, they still have to pull a permit to work in the right-of-way.
Okay.
I would still be held accountable to restore any damage that they would cause if they were doing work in the right-of-way. It's just the franchise fee itself is not something we will realize unless they
All right.
pick up a client.
okay. Don't want to give it away for free if we don't have to. All right, are there any questions of Rich or Nathan? All right, we'll open it for public comment. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address this issue? Nope, we'll close public comment, and I'll entertain a motion.
All right, this is a short one.
Okay, go for it, Joe.
I move that we adopt ordinance 1797, granting to Level 3 Telecom of Kansas City LLC a contract franchise to construct, operate, and maintain a telecommunications system in the city of Fairway, Kansas.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve ordinance number 1797. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is the section concerning governing body comment. During this time, members of the governing body will be given the opportunity to speak about matters related to the city. No formal action will be taken during this time. Is there anyone who has an item they wish to bring before the governing body?
Mayor, I'd just like to thank
David?
John Allen and Jason for stepping up to serve us as city council members, and I welcome Lee and Jerry to the council.
I'll second that. Anyone else?
Mayor, I just want to announce, as we wrap up the meeting, the city has purchased 2 boxes of wreaths from the Shawnee Indian Mission Foundation sale. The boxes are right through that door, so if you would like to take a wreath home, please feel free to grab one on your way out. But those were, the city purchased 2 boxes for the elected officials, staff to take home. So feel free to help yourself.
Thank you. I have one thing I would like to bring to your attention. I communicated today with Mike Thompson and Will Carpenter. They are the 2 individuals that are committee chairs for the State and Foreign Affairs Committee in Topeka. And they are the committees that Chief Barnes submitted his bill to appear in front of them requesting that the Shawnee Indian Mission be given to the Shawnee tribe. That bill was introduced a year ago. It stays active for the 2nd year, so it will be active during this next legislative session. So I communicated with both those individuals this morning, relating our position, what we have done in the past year in meeting with the tribes and the results of that. And I heard promptly within the hour from both of them, and they said our position does not change. The bills will not make it to the committee. And I said, and then, of course, in my email, I said, if that changes, call, I will be there to testify. But we got really good news back today. Yes. Just wanted you to know that. We continue onward with the mission. Anyone have anything else? All right. Who would like to adjourn us this evening? Oh, I can't do that yet. Forgot. Public comment for items not listed on the agenda. Anyone in the audience have anything they'd like to comment on? Nope. You all do a great job. Thank you, Susie. Susie. Thank you.
What a compliment that nobody ever comes.
Susie, could you please state your name and address for the record?
Yeah, we want that to be on record. All right, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.